Hi, I am Audrey, and welcome to my channel, The Backstory. On this channel, you will find out exactly what happened before each Sunday school lesson. The lesson for September 18th, 2022 is Promise of Obedience. Exodus chapter 19, verses 1 through 6, and Exodus 24, verses 3 through 8. For those of you who are new to my channel, this is the standard agenda. I will share the backstory, read the lesson text, and offer a brief summary. At this point, I would like to encourage you to go ahead and subscribe so that the YouTube algorithm will continue to push out my video each week. Thank you so much in advance. The backstory. Let's begin. Israel complained. According to Exodus chapter 17, verses 1 through 3, the whole Israelite community set out from the desert of sin, traveling from place to place as the Lord commanded. They camped at Rephidim. Rephidim on the map is located on the east side of Mount Sinai, but there was no water for the people to drink. So they quarreled with Moses and said, "Give us water to drink." Moses replied, "Why do you quarrel with me? Why do you put the Lord to the test?" But the people were thirsty for water there, and they grumbled against Moses. They said, "Why did you bring us up out of Egypt to make us and our children and livestock die of thirst?" In Exodus chapter 17, verses 5 through 6a, Moses cried out to the Lord, "What am I to do with these people? They are almost ready to stone me." Then the Lord answered Moses, "Go out in front of the people, take with you some of the elders of Israel, and take in your hand the staff with which you struck the Nile, and go. I will stand there before you by the rock at Horeb." Instructions for Moses. Strike the rock, and water will come out of it for the people to drink. So Moses did this in the sight of the elders of Israel. According to Exodus chapter 17, verse 7, and he called the place Massa and Meribah, because the Israelites quarreled, and because they test the Lord, saying, "Is the Lord among us or not?" Promise of obedience. Exodus chapter 19, verses 1 through 6, and chapter 24, verses 3 through 8. Time, 1445 BC. Place, Mount Sinai. Golden text. Moses came and told the people all the words of the Lord and all the judgments. And all the people answered with one voice and said, "All the words which the Lord hath said will we do." Exodus chapter 24, verse 3. Verse 1. In the third month, when the children of Israel were gone forth out of the land of Egypt, the same day came they into the wilderness of Sinai. Verse 2. For they were departed from Rephidim, and were come to the desert of Sinai, and had pitched in the wilderness, and there Israel camped before the mount. Verse 3. And Moses went up unto God, and the Lord called unto him out of the mountain, saying, "Thus shalt thou say to the house of Jacob, and tell the children of Israel." Verse 4. Ye have seen what I did unto the Egyptians, and how I bare you on eagles' wings, and brought you unto myself. Verse 5. Now therefore, if ye will obey my voice indeed, and keep my covenant, Then ye shall be a peculiar treasure unto me above all people, for all the earth is mine. Verse 6. And ye shall be unto me a kingdom of priests, and an holy nation. These are the words which thou shalt speak unto the children of Israel. Exodus chapter 24, verse 3. And Moses came and told the people all the words of the Lord, and all the judgments. And all the people answered with one voice, and said, All the words which the Lord hath said will we do. Exodus chapter 24, verse 4. And Moses wrote all the words of the Lord, and rose up early in the morning, and builded an altar under the hill, and 12 pillars, according to the 12 tribes of Israel. Exodus chapter 24, verse 5. And he sent young men of the children of Israel, which offered burnt offerings and sacrificed peace offerings of oxen unto the Lord. Exodus chapter 24, verse 6. And Moses took half of the blood and put it in basins, and half of the blood he sprinkled on the altar. Exodus chapter 24, verse 7. And he took the book of the covenant and read in the audience of the people. And they said, All that the Lord hath said will we do, and be obedient. Exodus chapter 24, verse 8. And Moses took the blood and sprinkled it on the people, and said, Behold the blood of the covenant, which the Lord hath made with you concerning all these words. A brief summary. Exactly 2 months after leaving Egypt, the first day of the third month, the Israelites arrived at Mount Sinai. In all likelihood, this was the very place where Moses had seen the burning bush, according to Exodus chapter 3, verses 1 and 2, and where God had promised that the people would worship him after being brought out of Egypt. The Israelites would spend almost a year there. After Moses climbed the mountain to meet with God, the statement, You yourselves have seen what I did to Egypt, was a reminder that the Lord had the credentials to provide a covenant. The expression, How I carried you on eagles' wings, was a reminder of how God had provided for the Israelites' every need on the journey to Sinai. The little word if indicates that the Lord was ready to announce the stipulations of the covenant. That requirement was that Israel was to obey the Lord and keep the covenant's terms. The first stated blessing was that Israel would be elevated above other nations. God did not, however, surrender his control over the nations, for the whole earth is his. The Israelites would be God's private property, his treasured possessions. The second blessing of the pending covenant was that Israel would be a kingdom of priests, thus giving every person access to God in prayer. In making this covenant with Israel, God sent Moses to deliver his basic proposition and then waited for a response before going on with the details of the covenant. Moses spoke to the elders, who then talked to their families and brought back to Moses a report. We will do everything the Lord has said. To the viewers and subscribers, thank you so much for watching, and join me soon for the next backstory.